everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, you are more than welcome. My name is Kira and I do all things PhD, staying productive and things like that. So if you want to see future videos, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you know when new videos are uploaded. I started this channel as a way to work on my public speaking, and since then a lot of you have subscribed and I'm so very grateful for that. So thank you to everybody who has been subscribing. Today's video is going to be all about my plans for the next 12 weeks. I know at this time it can be difficult to make plans and to try to stay motivated for your work, and I just want to say the most important thing at this time is to concentrate on your health and your mental well-being, and if you end up getting work done and being productive, then that's great, but if you don't, that's totally fine. So this is the 12-week layout that I have. Basically, if you've seen any of my videos before, you'll know that this is my A4 research diary. It's a bullet journal, which I like because you can make these kind of spreads that are a bit more customizable. And you know, I like that it's A4 because I get a ton of planning space, but you could also definitely do something like this in an A5 bullet journal if you're working with one of those as well. So I'll just walk you through this a little bit more. So I've got April, May, June, and these are the months for the next 12 weeks that I'll be working in, obviously. Down the side here I have the dates, and then each month I have this Sunday's, like the end of the week line here, so that I always know each of these is a full week, and it just makes things a bit easier for planning. So I have those done out for all the weeks, and then basically the 12 weeks we're looking at specifically are from the 6th of April down to the 28th of June. So those are the 12 weeks that we're planning and trying to get a sense of what kind of things I should be doing for my PhD during this time and stuff like that. I'll definitely be working from home over these next 12 weeks because of the epidemic that we're all aware of. So it's important to me to keep, in mind what I would like to achieve during this time, but at the same time not taking it too seriously, because what's most important is that myself and my family and the people close to me are healthy and safe, and if that's what's achieved in the next 12 weeks, then that's perfect as well. But it's nice to, I think, try to keep track with my research and still keep going, especially because I'm lucky that my research is in computer science. I don't rely on anything other than my laptop to do my research, so there's no reason, apart from getting new data and stuff like that, but I can do my research from home, so I should try my best to continue with my work as best I can, but again, not taking things too seriously. So I already filled in this here along the 4 weeks for each sort of month. So this is about, the weeks that are best suited to what kind of tasks. And that's based on a book called In the Flow, which is particularly about how women should be planning and stuff like that to best, work on your productivity. Would be following along with the 28-day cycle, because that's how our hormones work. So I've got my planning week, my communication week, my doing week, and my more reflecting kind of week. And that suits research quite well, because it means, so these 4 weeks I'm planning on putting out a paper in just 4 weeks. So this week is a good time to be planning the paper and what kind of research I need to do, what things I still need to do. It is sort of a follow-on from another paper, because a previous paper focused on one task mainly, and at the very end just touched on another. And this one is going to completely expand that point that was just touched on into an entirely full, fleshed out topic. So it's, relatively achievable. It's only going to be a short paper, but, it still requires a good amount of planning. So this week is a good time to plan the paper, plan what kind of research I'll be doing, the kind of algorithms I need and stuff like that. Then this week is a good time to communicate. It's a good time to talk to my supervisor and see what he thinks and get started working on the project as well. So it's a good time in this time as well to just start off with the research and talk with him when I'm finding out different things. And this will be the kind of time where the project grows and some decisions will be made about what's best. Then in this week, this will be the doing week. So it's more about now we've probably decided, which algorithms are best, what we're going to be mainly using, what we're going to be including in the paper, and this is a good time to do all of the research in the way that we discussed and start writing the paper. And then here will be a good time for reflection. It'll be a good time to be doing the sort of summing up parts of the paper, so the discussion and conclusion that sum up everything. So it does follow a good 28-day cycle research can do. So that's something that I've been finding really useful since I read that book. So I highly recommend it, and I'll have it linked for you down below for any of the ladies. So yeah, I just did that on the 4 weeks for all of these 12 weeks, and it follows a pretty good, path here. And I kind of planned it that way that my 12 weeks would be having 3 cycles of plan, communicate, do, reflect. Because I just thought that was most suitable. So you can see I already just have this week filled in because this week has already passed, and the point was that I planned my paper. I did my academic writing and demo hours and software development. So I split up this into 3 categories just so I have more of a clear plan here. So I've got PhD specific stuff, transferable skills stuff, and personal stuff, and that's going to be like mostly to do with my YouTube, because other personal things I can just plan separately, but anything that I feel I want to include in this specifically, then I can put in this category. So if you don't know what I mean by transferable skills, I've done a whole video on the types of transferable skills PhD students should expect to learn and should work on during their PhD, in my opinion. So if you want to check that out, I'll have it linked for you down below. But it also there's a separate video that shows how I track this. So this is how my transferable skills are looking so far, and these are the ones. So research skills, personal organization, teamwork and leadership, career management, entrepreneurship and innovation, writing and publishing, public speaking, media/scientific communication, general machine learning methods, and programming. And basically the ones that I want to work on in these 4 weeks would be trying to get some of these up a bit higher, because basically what would be ideal to me would have all of this done by first year, this done by second year, and this done by third year, and then fourth year will be time to really top off them skills and try to learn even more. So basically I have a bit of teamwork and leadership to work on, which will be done because I'm working on a entrepreneurship project with someone from my PhD, and we'll be working on that together. So that'll be a good experience for me to do that and go through the program with her. And so I think that'll definitely get me my last square there. Career management, I'm doing some career management stuff, like making a LinkedIn and setting up a CV, and that'll kind of get me somewhere. And then hopefully the program as well would be good career management, because I do intend to work in some sort of entrepreneurship type industry, so that will be a good career experience for me, and that should hopefully get me there. And then probably I'll work on the last one throughout the summer. Entrepreneurship and innovation, obviously the program I think could possibly get me 2 squares because it's a full program, and at the end we'll be pitching our project, so I think that will probably get me those 2. Writing and publishing, I will be publishing one more paper, writing one more paper, who knows if it'll be published, but that will get me 1 square. And if those 2 papers, the one that I previously wrote and this one, get in, I reckon that could get me the other one, especially because I'm also doing my academic writing class at the moment, and that'll be finished up around this time, so that'll get me there. Public speaking, so one thing is that I'm actually going to be doing a webinar live in the Doctorate Studies group on Facebook. So that's going to be really interesting, and I think that could get me a square, because that's something I never really expected to be doing, given that there's over 80,000 people in that group. It's just not something I really expected to be doing, so I've been asked to do that, and I should be doing that in the next couple of weeks, so that's very exciting. And then most likely I will be presenting my paper either to my research cohort or in a conference online, hopefully. So that will get me my last one. Then for media and scientific communication, what I want to work on in this time is getting my YouTube channel well, for the next month, getting it up to 1,000 subscribers would be amazing, and I'm so thankful to everybody who has been subscribing and really helping me achieve that goal. I started this goal as a way to develop my public speaking skills and sort of make a presence for myself as a woman in a STEM subject, because I think it's important to do that and to motivate younger people to know that they can do that if that's something that they want to do. So I'm so thankful to everybody who has been supporting me through subscribing or liking my videos or commenting on my videos or even just watching. I'm just so thankful. So hopefully everybody continues to enjoy the videos. So one thing I'll be working on during this time is achieving longer videos, since that's something that's been requested, is that more of like study with me, but it's like research with me type videos. So that's something I'll be doing as well. So yeah, so those are the kind of things, and I have over here just written the kind of things that I would like to do during these, like to get these skills up. But anyways, I will go back and do this. So with all that in mind, what I just discussed with my skills, the next thing that I'm going to do just for April at least is to write out some goals. And actually first I'm going to fill in any dates that are definite, that are like not changeable dates, things that are definitely happening. So I'm just going to do that first of all, and then I will show you that. Okay, so you can see now that I filled in just some definite dates. I've got when I'm going to be working on the algorithms. I have a notification for a paper. I've got my classwork, my demonstration hours, which is basically like teaching hours in my university, and then working on the final models for the proposed paper, writing it, doing my final sort of coursework, my writing assignment, my lab journal for software development, my demonstration hours I'll be finishing up, and then this week I can just focus on the writing part. Then I have an exam here, which means this will just be, this is actually, yeah, studying. Yeah, so that'll be doing that, and I'll also be grading papers in as well for that week. Then down here I start my innovation and entrepreneurship bootcamp, and that's 4 weeks long. And then in the last week of June I have a sort of summer school type thing for my specific cohort for my PhD. So basically these are going to be very busy sort of 5 weeks, which means anything else major that I want to get done for my PhD needs to be done mostly in this period. And the things that I'd like to get done would be writing my literature review, writing my first one at least main chapter of my thesis as well, or at least part of 2 chapters. If I decide to put those 2 papers into sort of separate categories, then it will be part of 2 chapters because they'll be worked on continuously. So that's something I need to do, and I'll be working on the literature review like throughout this whole period as well, like in smaller stages. So I'll have some upcoming videos about the literature review, so if you want to see those, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you know when those videos are uploaded. So that's coming up anyways. And then the last thing I need to do as well is work on a software sort of online app that can collect data for the future stages of my project. So that's something I need to do. So I'm going to fill in my goals down here of things that I would like to get done or need to get done during this time, and then I will check back in with you guys. Okay, so I filled in my goals. I left space for 10, and it might change throughout the couple of weeks, but these are ones that I definitely think I can and will achieve in this next 4 weeks. So submitting my second paper, finishing up my coursework for my classes, which is happening around here and here, presenting my research to my cohort, so that's my research kind of group for my PhD, and presenting to them just like my general research topic and stuff like that. Doing the DSG webinar, so that's the Doctorate Studies group on Facebook. Doing 1 to 2 hour videos is something I'd like to include, so that's something I'm going to be working on during this week. And getting to 1,000 subscribers in these 4 weeks would be amazing. We're getting closer every day, and again, so thankful to everybody who has been contributing. And then to get 3 sections of my literature review done, I think I'm gonna have about 7 sections maybe, so getting 3 done will be great, and that's something that I can show you guys as well, my sort of process. Then I have less goals sort of here so far, because that's something that's gonna, like, after the 4 weeks I'll have more of an understanding of what I want to do for the next 4 weeks. So let me know in the comments below if you would like to see an update of this every 4 weeks. But the main things would be, I want to get my literature review chapter done, my first main chapter done, my web application done, and a basic prototype for the Nova sort of program, just so that we're kind of starting off to a good note, I guess. So that means that most of this has to happen in these 2 weeks, because everything else is kind of busy. So yeah, so let's fill that in as lit review and web app, and then this week can be first chapter and Nova prototype. Okay, so then I already have a sense of what I'm going to be working on for these 2 weeks. There's not a lot of room for much else there. And then the Nova bootcamp kind of thing is starting here and going on for the rest of the summer. Oh yeah, what's it called? Present at ICCP. So yeah, that's sort of what I've got going on. These 4 weeks I've got the boot camp, and then I've got a summer school, and then I've got a conference on as well. So I don't think I'll be doing a ton of new work during this time. Probably I'll still be finishing off stuff from here a bit, but ideally I'll just be able to focus on the program and really take in as much as possible, because I'd like to learn a lot about entrepreneurship during that time and then be able to share that with you guys as well. So yeah, the last sort of goal that I have that is a bit, not sure about it, is to do my stage 2 transfer, which would be on the 15th of June. And that's something in my university that you do so that you can get into your final stage of your program, which is generally done within 18 months. But this would be done within, I guess, 8 months. So I don't know if my supervisor is going to agree, but I kind of feel, you're generally supposed to have submitted a paper, done a chapter of your thesis, have a plan for your credits, and are making waves towards your transferable skills. And I feel that during this time I've definitely done a lot of that. I personally feel I would be ready for the stage 2 transfer, but I have to talk to my supervisor and my research group about that, so we'll kind of see about that goal. But the work that I'm doing during these other 4 weeks and 4 weeks before that are definitely leading towards that. So this is my basic plan, and then it means that every week then I can look at this and see what do I need to work on. So even now I can fill in some YouTube video ideas for in here. So I would like to have done by Tuesday, or I'm gonna say Wednesday just to be safe, my first 1 to 2 hour video of reading papers and making notes on papers, and that will be following a Pomodoro. So it means that you guys can just put on the video and be motivated to do research with me. And I think that's quite helpful for this time when people are unsure of what they're supposed to be doing. So yeah, hopefully that's going to be interesting. And then I also need to do a video on academic writing. So I'm going to do, that's going to be going in. And then probably one that's a bit more like this kind of stuff at the end of next week as well. So that's the kind of way I'll follow it, is that I can look back at each week and see what needs to be done, and then I can plan out my week in more detail using I don't have one actually ready to go, but you've probably seen them before in some of my other videos. If not, I will have my playlist for this kind of academic bullet journal linked for you down below so that you can see those. So guys, that is it for this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it at least somewhat motivational to know that it is still possible to do some things during this time but at the same time, not worrying whatsoever if you can't do anything during this time. You know, it's important to take care of yourself and to make sure that you are doing the best you can, I would say, more than anything.